With the return of Dragon Ball in Battle of Gods and the continuation of the franchise in Dragon Ball Super, Akira Toriyama, Toyo Taro, and the other writers have introduced new and interesting characters to audiences. Many of these characters have hailed from other universes, and have been incredibly popular among the fan base. However, one such character has stood above nearly all the rest in popularity and cool factor, and this is the legendary assassin from Universe 6, Hit. And ever since he debuted in the Tournament of Destroyers arc, Hit has been shown to be a man of incredible power and technique, proving a challenge for Goku and his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10, and now in the Tournament of Power providing an impressive showing against the seemingly unstoppable Jiren. However, it was in this encounter that Hit was removed from action and eliminated from the Tournament of Power altogether. But was this a good decision the writers made? Should Hit have been eliminated so early in the tournament, or should he have been one of the final fighters on the stage? Well, in this video, I'm gonna break that down. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you could see all of my content right away when it comes out. So Hit is without a doubt my favorite member of Team Universe 6, and in my top 5 of new characters introduced in modern Dragon Ball. He's a total badass who says little and knows how to get the job done. And after all, he's a hitman like his name implies. Having existed for over 1,000 years, Hit is a seasoned pro who can prove a challenge for nearly any foe who stands in his way, or job that warrants his skills. In many ways, Hit reminds me of Tien from Dragon Ball, who was also an assassin and who at first seemed like a bad person, and eventually wanted to kill Goku once he discovered what had happened to Mercenary Tao. But much like Tien, Goku and his friends allowed Hit to develop a sort of friendly rivalry with Goku, still promising to kill him sort of like Vegeta did, but saying he'd take his time with that mission. And aside from a fight in the filler arc after the Goku Black arc, Goku and Hit never had a true definitive rematch which would determine which of them is truly the superior fighter, and which would end in a clear result. So of course, when the Tournament of Power was announced and Hit was among the fighters participating, a highly anticipated fight was the rematch between Goku and Hit, which fans had eagerly been awaiting until this most recent episode. In fact, in a prior episode, the two teamed up to fight against members of the Pride Troopers, and after that tornado tag match, it was teased that they would fight again toward the end of the tournament. And the ending where Goku and Hit walked away from one another was a badass and epic moment. However, it appears that this rematch was simply not fated to happen, as both Goku and Hit lost to Jiren's overwhelming power, and while Goku is conveniently still left in the ring after his loss, Hit was thrown from the ring and eliminated. And I'm going to be honest, this was pretty disappointing for me. Hit is easily the most interesting and coolest member of Universe 6's team. While Megetta and Kaba are cool, and the Namekians have only just now appeared, the other characters receiving the most focus in Caulifla and Kale are neither original nor anywhere near as well written, with Caulifla being constantly handed power-ups and transformations, while Kale is literally a walking Broly reference. So with Hit losing here, their team not only loses their most interesting member, but the likely MVP in the process, which also makes it seem far less likely that Universe 6 can pull out a win. And while we know Goku and friends are still alive at the end of Z, as Dragon Ball Super takes place during the 10-year time skip between Buu and Oob, it would be a far less predictable ending if another team wins in the end, and Universe 6 is the most likely to win and wish back those erased from Universe 7. However, now with Hit gone, this seems far less likely, and may be the signal that Universe 6 will lose soon. So was this really a necessary move to make? After all, we have all of these random robot fighters still in the ring, we have characters like Ribrianne whom have long overstayed their welcome, and then we have Jiren, Topo, and Dispo. So if the tournament is still going to go on for episode after episode, why wouldn't you keep Hit in the fight and save his match for later? Why wouldn't you have Hit defeat Jiren instead of just being another fodder character for him to break through all of Hit's techniques and defeat him? So far it seems that Jiren is around to be that final boss that everything comes down to in the end, but is that really a necessary thing to do when the tournament is a big battle royal and the ideas of skill, technique, and strategy have been emphasized since the beginning? And that's a problem when you compare Hit to Jiren. Hit is certainly strong, but he also has a host of cool techniques which allow him to improve, manipulate time, and create alternate dimensions and more. But Jiren, on the other hand, just seems to have overwhelming power, where he's so strong he could simply break through time and stop you with a gaze. But doesn't that send the wrong message and provide a problem when you take this tournament that's meant to be about strategy, how you use your power and techniques and teamwork, and then basically say that none of that matters because Jiren is so strong? Sure, Jiren is a badass, but aside from some cool execution, he really isn't as dynamic or interesting as Hit. He's just super strong, and thus super fast and super durable, and apparently so badass he can keep up with Goku's Ultra Instinct, which in effect seems to diminish the importance of that ability. But I digress. Hit is a far better representative of the ideas this tournament is supposed to embody, and even if he were to lose in the end, I think throwing him out only halfway in may have been a big wasted opportunity for those writing this tournament. Hit should have been one of the final four, one of the last men standing who everything comes down to. Sure, you can have Jiren there as well as Goku, maybe even someone else from another universe, but I think Hit would have been much better served losing in this close, tension-filled fashion rather than having him thrown out by Jiren and Jiren going into meditation. And so far it appears that Goku has just been kept around along with Jiren so we can get a potential rematch by the end of this tournament. And if that's the case, it's a strong likelihood that they removed Hit from the equation now to not distract from that later. But should the entire tournament really come down to a one-on-one fight between two people who really just met each other? Or would it be better suited being fought by a mix of all of the above? And maybe the finale not coming down to pure strength, but a mix of everything else? I think that's up to you guys to decide. I'm sure that some people liked this surprise, and they like Hit being used essentially as a jobber to make Jiren look even more badass, so this may have been a great turn of events for those who feel this way. But personally, I prefer Hit as a character and think he could have, and really should have gone the distance. And if Universe 6 is erased and its inhabitants never brought back, then we'll never get to see Goku and Hit truly decide who is the better fighter. And we'll never get to see Hit's story further explored. And I think that's why Hit should have stayed in the tournament, and maybe even won the whole thing.
Yeah, and you better subscribe, enable those damn notifications.